Welcome to Binge Breakthrough, the podcast designed to help you finally break through the barriers that keep you stuck feeling out of control around food. I'm Master Certified Coach Jane Pilger, and I want you to know that no matter how long you've been struggling or what you've tried, food freedom is possible, and I'm here to show you how. After years of therapy, eating disorders treatment, restrictive diets, and reading all the books, I was still stuck in the on-again, off-again cycle of restricting and binging until I was able to see it all from a new perspective that changed everything. Each week, I will share the strategies, tools, and mindset that allowed me to overcome my decades-long battle with binge eating. Your journey to body trust starts now. Let's dive in. Hello, trusted listener. Welcome to Binge Breakthrough. I consider you a trusted listener because I trust that you are listening to this podcast for a reason. I trust that you are going to hear something insightful and impactful on your journey with food, or maybe just your journey with life. I also like to really emphasize the word trust. So many people don't trust themselves. And it's in this very idea that you can't trust yourself that so many food problems lie. Now, we're going to talk more about this and this idea of self-trust next month. So just know that is coming soon. But for today, what we're going to talk about is how to see what's possible. This episode was actually inspired by a movie. 2 movies. Have you ever gone to a movie? I'm going to guess you have. Been to a movie and you watch the movie. Sometimes you go to a movie and it's like, oh, that was good. That was entertaining. And then you just kind of go about your day. Some movies are not so great. Some movies are amazing. Some movies are very entertaining. But then there are some that just stay with you for a while. And for whatever reason, you keep thinking about them. There's something that happened, something that was said, some underlying message in a movie that really just stays with you. And that's what this episode is inspired by. So a couple of weeks ago, it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, my husband and I went to see the new Lion King, the Mufasa movie, which basically, if you don't know, is a prequel to the original Lion King movie. And it's the story of Mufasa. How did Mufasa come to be? You get to know a little bit more about his actual story. So we went to see that movie, Mufasa, and then the next day, I told my husband, I said, I really want to watch the original. Had not seen the original, maybe even since it came out in the theaters. And so we watched it again. And in both of these movies, there's this really powerful concept in that in both cases, in both movies, the lion who would become king, Mufasa in the movie that's out right now, and Simba in the original movie, neither one of themselves could see themselves as king. They couldn't see it for themselves. They didn't have the belief or the confidence in who they were and in what they were capable of. Yet they still became king. So how? How did they come to step into their true role as king? They didn't do it on their own. On their own, they had doubt, they had fear, they had insecurity. But they were able to step into their true role, what was meant for them, when somebody came alongside them, was able to see what was possible and to show them the possibilities that existed. So in the original Lion King movie, Simba, who is Mufasa's son, Simba believed a lie. So in the original Lion King movie, Mufasa, Simba's father, dies pretty early on. And his brother, Scar, pretty much orchestrates this death. And Scar tells Simba that the death of his father was his fault. And Simba believed this. Simba believed the lie that it was his fault that his father died. And so he ran away. He ran away because he didn't want anybody he didn't think he deserved to be there. Scar told him to run away. And he believed Scar. He believed the lie. He believed that it was his fault. So he went off for years. He found other people. It's another case of him being alone, surrounded himself. Well, he found other people who really helped him kind of create a different life for himself. But here's the thing that's interesting to think about. We are all believing so many lies. Just like Simba believed the lie that Scar told him that had him leave all of his family, leave his rightful place to be heir, to become king. The reason that Scar did this to him was so that Scar could become king. Scar wanted to be king. And he thought the only way I can do this is if I get rid of the current king, Mufasa, and his son. So I will orchestrate the death of Mufasa, and I'll just make sure that Simba never comes back. Then I can become king. So Simba believed this. And we're all believing so many lies. Lies that are told to us sometimes by other people. Sometimes they're just lies that were maybe they weren't actually even lies. Maybe it's an interpretation of something that we heard. Somebody told us something, somebody who had really good intentions, but we interpreted it in a way that left us believing that we aren't able to do what we want or be what we want. This absolutely shows up in our relationship with food and our bodies. How many lies are we believing about our bodies, about food, about ourselves and food, about what our body can or can't do, about what we can or can't do because of the size or the ability or the limitations of our bodies? We're believing these lies just like Simba believed the lie that Scar told him. And this had Simba isolate himself. How many of us are isolating ourselves because of what we're believing to be true about our bodies or about food? I can't tell you how many people I talk to who will not go somewhere because of the size of their body. Maybe they've put on weight since they last saw certain people and they won't go to see them. Maybe they won't even go to a restaurant because they don't trust themselves. They're believing the lie that they can't go out to eat and not have a situation where they can't control themselves. They're believing the lie that people won't like them or love them or will treat them differently because of the size of their body. Now, there is some truth. There are people who will judge others based on the size of their body. But when I see this from clients and other people that I talk to, the people that they're afraid of judging them or not accepting them are not people who would judge or say terrible things based on the size of somebody's body. These are people who absolutely love these people. They're the ones who are rejecting themselves, and they're believing the lie that they are not lovable in the body that they're in. So there's this really powerful scene in the original Lion King movie. And Simba is talking to Mufasa. Mufasa died earlier in the movie, and Simba is talking to Mufasa up in the stars. So Mufasa's kind of up in the stars talking down to his son. And Mufasa, who used to be king, the father of Simba, says to Simba, as has still isolated himself, he's still thinking, I can't go back. I cannot go back to my people because of what I've done. And when Scar took over, when Scar became king, everything was terrible. And Simba needs to come back so that he can take his rightful place there. So in this scene, Mufasa says to Simba, "You have forgotten who you are. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life. Remember who you are." And this conversation, these words became a catalyst for Simba to remember, to tap into the power that was already inside of him and to go back home and to take his place as the king. Now, I love this. I'm going to repeat a few words. You have forgotten who you are. Look inside yourself. You are more than what you have become. Remember who you are. I want you to know that you are more than what you have become. No matter, even if you love what you have become and you are very proud and you love all of the things that you have done for yourself, you are more than that. You still have power inside you that is inside of you. I want you to remember who you are. I want you to look at what are the lies I am believing about myself, about my body, about my relationship with food, about what is possible for me. What am I believing and why? We don't always have to know the why. We don't always have to go back and to look at our past, but sometimes it can be useful. Sometimes. There's another powerful sentence that I love in this original movie from Rafiki, who's the wise monkey. And he says to Simba, as Simba is thinking about the past, thinking about what happened, thinking about what happened with his father, Rafiki says, "Oh yes, the past can hurt. But from the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it." This is very wise wisdom from Rafiki. He says you can either run from your past or you can learn from it. Yes, the past can hurt. The question for you is, what are you doing with your past? Whether it's your past from yesterday, maybe you showed up with food in a way that you don't prefer, or maybe it's your past from when you were very young, or maybe from 2 months ago, or from when you didn't do something that you wish you did, where you have regrets. What are you doing with your past? You have two options. You can keep running from it, or you can learn from it. So many of us are running from our pasts. We might think, it's too painful, or we're in so much shame or in judgment that we refuse to look at it. We think we can't. We think it's not possible. We think that any other potential future is not possible for us. But there is always something to learn from our past experiences, especially the painful ones. But we can't always learn the lesson on our own. And this is for two reasons. Number one, we just can't always see it. There's a amazing saying, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. I believe this is Einstein. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So if your mind created the problem, it is not likely going to be the same mind that is going to solve it. So we can either bring another mind in, or we can shift perspective and start to see things in a new way. So sometimes we literally just cannot see what somebody else can see. It's one of the things I love doing with clients, is to be able to see what they can't see, to show them what they're not able to see on their own. So that is one way that is really powerful to bring somebody in to help you see what's possible. The other way, especially when we're talking about a painful past, Sometimes our nervous system will not allow us to look at painful things on our own. Now, this all depends on your nervous system, the state of your nervous system, your what feels safe, what doesn't feel safe. Sometimes even looking at, for example, let's say you had a binge and you are somebody who has a very strong shame, high levels of shame when you binge. Sometimes even on your own, you may not be able to get past that shame on your own, to be able to look at it, to be able to learn from it. Sometimes being held in a container with somebody else, a safe person, will give you the ability to look at something that may just be too painful on your own. So anytime anybody says, oh, just lean into the pain, just learn from the pain, there are very good reasons why we can't do this on our own. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible, that healing isn't possible, that you aren't capable of doing it, but it's a skill. If you are turning away from it, if you are running from it, there is a valid reason, but that doesn't mean you can't learn how to use the pain, to very slowly look at it, to stop running from it and start learning from it. Now, if we go back to the Lion King, Simba, who does ultimately become king, he would not have become king if he had stayed in hiding. If he had continued to believe what Scar told him, that his father's death was his fault, he would have stayed in hiding. But when he had people come around him, when he had people come for him, then he was able to question, to open up, to seek the wisdom of Mufasa from the stars and of Rafiki. He was able to get that guidance and then discover the truth and return back to take his rightful place and to become king. Now, of course, he had pain, or not pain, he did have pain, but he also still had doubts, he had fears, but he was able to step into it. So, what do you do? How then do you figure out what is possible for you? Find someone who believes in you, who can see the truth of what's meant for you, of what is possible for you. Find someone who can show you what you can't see for yourself. If you have something on your heart, something that you would love, but you don't think would be possible for you, I believe that this is your path. You have this desire, this thing on your heart for a reason. We're not given desires just to have them just be there. We have them for a reason. So let's bring this back specifically to food. Here's what I believe. I believe that you know that it's possible to feel calm, confident, and connected around food. If you didn't think it was possible in some way, maybe, possibly, somehow, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. But something is holding you back. Something is holding you back from believing that it is truly possible for you. If this is you, you are believing a lie. And it might be a lie that you've been telling yourself for years. Something like, I can't trust myself. I'm out of control. I've always been this way. There's something wrong with me. These are lies. They are lies that will keep you stuck. They will keep you hiding. They will keep you from what is truly possible for yourself with food and with the relationship with your body. Now, not everybody has somebody in their life that believes in them and can see what they can't see, that can see what is possible for them. If you don't have that person in your life that believes in you and can see what you can't see on your own, I would love to be that person for you. Now, you have me here every week on the podcast. Keep listening to these episodes. I will continue to tell you about what is possible for you, to let you inspire yourself and to create the dreams and act on the dreams that you have for yourself, even if you have doubts and uncertainties. That's part of the human experience. But if you want personal support to be able to see what is happening for you, this is what I love doing most. Now, if you are listening live at the end of January of 2025, my invitation to you is to join the Binge Eating Breakthrough book experience. 7 weeks with me going through the Binge Eating Breakthrough book to be able to see what is possible for you, to see yourself from a new perspective. Now, if you are listening after March of 2025, the book experience is over, but you can still get the book. If you want my personal support and guidance, visit my website to see how I can support you. Here's what I know to be true. Nobody is meant to do life alone. You will have dreams and you will have doubts. This is what it means to be human. Don't let the lies that you have been believing hold you back from who you truly are and from what is possible for you. To quote Mufasa again, you have forgotten who you are. Look inside yourself. You are more than what you have become. Remember who you are. I'm here to help show you how to look inside yourself so that you can remember, so that you can learn from your past and stop running from it, so that you can step into the truth of what is possible for you. Now, if you haven't seen either the new Mufasa or the original Lion King movie, I recommend that you do. See what comes up for you. And if you do, and something does come up for you, I would love to hear about it. Find someone who will believe in you and guide you to what's truly possible. I believe in you. That's what I have for you today. I'll see you next week. Did you hear? I just wrote a book, The Binge Eating Breakthrough. And I've decided to host the Binge Eating Breakthrough book experience to make sure that you get this book and it doesn't become another form of shelf help. Join me for 7 weeks of guided support as you discover why willpower isn't the answer, why restricting certain foods often backfires, and why understanding your brain and body is the key to lasting change. If you have any pain around food, you will find insights and breakthroughs, not only in the book, but through the entire experience together. We start on February 5th, and I would love to see you there. Sign up today at janepilger.com/book.